5 seconds. That is the margin by which one team left the entire world standing absolutely still. Alexis Holmes, individual 400m silver medalist and anchor leg runner, put it simply, every time we get together, the goal is just to win. Today, we are going to understand exactly what that meant and exactly how they did it. A single runner on the third leg who effectively decided this race before the anchor ever touched the baton. A Polish team with deep relay heritage that ran a season best and still could not keep pace. And an Australian squad making their first appearance in this discipline at the World Indoors since 1999, chasing bronze under intense pressure. This is the story of the most complete relay performance of the entire championship. But to understand just how total this performance was, we need to go back to the start and set the scene in Nanjing. It is March 23rd, 2025. The 2025 World Athletics Indoor Championships. And this is the final event of the entire meet, the women's 4x400 meters relay held inside the stunning Nanjing's Cube at Nanjing Youth Olympic Sports Park in China. 6 nations had originally qualified for this final. Brazil withdrew before the gun, leaving 5 teams competing for just 3 medals. On the line, the United States, clear favorites, carrying the weight of expectation. Poland, a nation with genuine relay pedigree and the composure to use it. Australia, quietly historic, making their first appearance in this event at the World Indoors in over 2 decades. China, returning to this discipline for the first time since 1995. And Sri Lanka, making history simply by being here. For context, the championship record in this event stands at 3:23.85, set by the United States back in Birmingham in 2018. The standard, in other words, has always been set by this same nation. The question on this night in Nanjing was whether anyone could push them close enough to matter. This was not just another relay final. It was the closing statement of an entire championship, and the pressure on every runner was unlike anything else on the program. So how did it unfold? It started with the very first stride. Picture this. The stadium is electric, the crowd is on its feet, and 5 of the world's best relay squads are crouched behind their lanes for the most anticipated event of the week. For the United States, the opening leg belongs to Quanera Hayes, the Olympic trials champion. Her assignment is simple in theory, extraordinarily difficult in practice: set the tone, get to the front, and give her teammates something to work with. Hayes does exactly that. She explodes out of the blocks with controlled aggression, attacks the bend, and drives hard into the straight. Once the brake cone clears and the field comes together, she moves toward the front with authority. Her split for the opening leg, 52.28 seconds. A strong, composed, championship-level performance. But here is where it gets interesting. Poland's Justyna Witte-Ursetic, the most experienced runner on the Polish squad and someone who has competed at major championships for years, edges the first leg. Her split of 52.18 puts Poland fractionally ahead at the first exchange. The favorites are not yet leading. The pressure is real. Think about that for a moment. In a relay final, the team with the most expectation has just handed over the baton in second place. The crowd knows it, the coaches know it, and the runners certainly know it. Now onto the second leg. Bailey Lear takes the baton for the United States, and she wastes absolutely no time. Lear's first 200 meters are exceptional, genuinely powerful. She opens up a gap of roughly 5 meters on Poland's Aleksandra Formela almost immediately, turning what had been a tight opening leg into clear separation. That is a statement move. That is the kind of running that tells the rest of the field exactly what they are dealing with. Australia on the third leg is represented by Ella Connolly, steady, composed, staying connected to the leaders, but not yet threatening. But here is where the race gets complicated again. Formela begins to close. Poland, to their immense credit, never panics. Their relay structure is built on discipline and experience, and Formella demonstrates exactly that in the closing 100 meters of her leg, gradually clawing back the distance that Lear had built. By the time the baton exchange approaches, that gap has started to shrink. Now you might be wondering, why does that matter so much? Because relay races are often decided not by the fastest individual, but by the runner who holds their form under fatigue. And Bailey Lear, driving toward that exchange with her legs beginning to tire and Poland closing from behind, does something critical. She holds. She maintains her technique. She preserves the lead. The United States hands over to the third leg with an advantage, but not a comfortable one. And here is the key analytical point. If Poland had fully closed that gap at the leg 2 exchange, the entire dynamic of this race changes. A tight race at the halfway point gives the chasing teams belief. It shifts momentum. It makes the third leg a genuine contest. Lear's ability to hold form under real fatigue kept that from ever happening. But the USA had the lead. Poland was closing. Australia was still in contention. So the real question going into the third leg was who had the runner that could end this race for good? What happened next shocked even the most seasoned observers of this event. Rosey Effiong takes the baton for the United States, and she delivers immediately, emphatically, what can only be described as a world-class individual performance in the context of a relay. Her split, 51.65 seconds, the fastest individual leg of the entire final. Now, that number alone tells a story. But the number alone does not capture what it actually looked like. In relay racing, the third leg is known as the pressure leg. You receive the baton in a tight race, you run hard, and you hand over to your anchor in a position your team can defend. That is the expectation. That is the job. Effiong does not simply do the job. She fundamentally changes the race. Her acceleration in the second half of the lap is where the decisive moment arrives. She does not just maintain the lead her teammates built, she stretches it. Dramatically. With every stride she takes, Poland and Australia fall further behind. The gap that was 5 meters at the leg 2 exchange becomes something far more significant by the time she approaches the final exchange zone. This is the part most people never fully appreciate about dominant relay teams. The race is not won by the anchor leg, the race is won by the third leg runner who removes all uncertainty before the anchor ever steps in. By the time Effiong completes her leg, the real contest in this race has already shifted. Poland's Anastasia Ku posts a 53.70 split, Australia's Bella Pasquale runs 53.62. Both are solid professional performances. But neither runner has the pace to make up the ground that Effiong just created. The race for gold is over. What remains now, and it is a genuine and compelling story in its own right, is the contest for silver and bronze. Two of the world's most consistent relay programs running season-best times, competing for the places on the podium that one team has already claimed as their own. And with Effiong's performance, the narrative of this race had already been written. But behind the USA, there was still a real story playing out, and it came down to two very different relay philosophies. Remember what we discussed earlier, the idea that this team's goal every single time they come together is simply to win? This is where it all connects. Alexis Holmes steps into the anchor position carrying one of the largest relay leads in recent championship history. She is also, for context, the individual 400m silver medalist from earlier in the same championship week, a proven performer at the highest level in the highest pressure moments. And what she delivers is not a chase, it is not a defense, it is a controlled, composed, authoritative victory lap. Her split 51.47 seconds, the second fastest individual leg of the final. Holmes does not force it. She maintains her rhythm, manages her technique, and brings the team home with the kind of calm that only comes from genuine class. The final time for the United States, 3:27.45. Behind her, Poland takes silver in 3:32.05, a season best, Anna Greik anchors the Polish squad with a 53-5-8 split, and the composure that has defined their entire relay all night carries them safely to the line in second place. Consistent exchanges, experienced runners, a relay structure that never collapsed under pressure. Australia claims bronze in 3:32.65, also a season best. Their anchor Gemma Pollard runs 52.74, and in a different race, on a different night, that might have been enough for more. But on this night, they are running against a team that is simply operating at another level entirely. The significance of Australia's bronze should not be understated. This is their first appearance in this discipline at the World Indoors since 1999. A genuine milestone for their program. And then, there is the gap. Nearly 5 seconds. That is not a close race that got away. That is a statement. Now zoom out for a moment, because this is the part that tells the bigger story. The USA's depth across all 4 legs. Quanera Hayes at 52.28, Bailey Lear at 52.05, Rosey Effiong at 51.65, Alexis Holmes at 51.47 reveals something extraordinary. This is not a relay built around one superstar carrying 3 passengers. Every single leg is strong. Every single runner is capable of competing individually at a world championship level. That is what separates this team from everyone else in this event. As Holmes herself put it, we've been running with each other since college, so we definitely get to know each other a lot. We don't get to see each other that much during the year, but every time we get together, the goal is just to win. That's the highlight of the week for sure, another medal for Team USA. 4 runners, 4 strong legs, 0 moments of doubt. That is the simplest possible summary of everything this race just showed. And that mentality, race after race, championship after championship, is exactly why this team keeps ending up on the top step. So what does this performance tell us about where this event is heading? This race was not won by one athlete on one exceptional day. It was won by a system. 4 runners, selected with precision, executing with composure under the brightest possible lights, the final event of an entire World Athletics Indoor Championship. No weak link, no costly moment, no hand reaching for the baton at the wrong angle or a gap closing in the wrong direction, just 4 laps of near-perfect relay execution. And consider the context of what finished behind them. Poland ran a season best. Australia ran a season best. Both nations competed with everything they had, managed clean exchanges, and put forward their strongest possible teams. And still, nearly 5 seconds. That is the standard. That is what this event looks like right now. And yet, the championship record still stands. The 3:23.85 set by the United States in Birmingham in 2018 remains untouched, which means that even this dominant, near-flawless performance in Nanjing leaves the story open. The ceiling in this event has not yet been reached. So the question worth carrying with you is this. With depth like this, 4 runners, 4 powerful legs, no visible weakness anywhere in the team, what would it actually take for another nation to step onto the top step? What combination of talent, timing, and circumstance would need to come together? That thought is worth sitting with long after this video ends. If this breakdown gave you a new appreciation for what relay racing at the highest level really looks like, consider subscribing. There is a lot more to explore here on Jason Ward News.